Hey, this is Passy from Passy's World of ICT with another Might of the Python programming lesson. And we're going to make a Hangman game, and this is going to be absolutely awesome, believe you me. Alright, so Python Hangman game. Now, if you do not know how Hangman works, you've never played it, then you need to go watch this YouTube video, so CGOEI, whatever. And the guy's good. In 1 minute, he'll tell you about Hangman. So how Hangman works is there's a mystery word, which initially is just going to be all star characters, so we don't know what it is. Now, here we've played the game for a while. You can see we've already guessed these letters, and some of them have been found in the word, so they're shown to us. So it's revealed those letters. Now, we're still thinking, what is that? What is that? Maybe this is CK, so we guess the word K, and that matches 2 letters. As you can see, we've already got a few Hangman things happening here, and it's ak. And so that's interesting. It's actually backpacking. Okay, backpacking, we managed to guess it because we already knew what it was because we remembered the word list. But anyway, congratulations, you have beaten the Hangman. Okay, so that's really good. Here things weren't so good. We didn't beat the Hangman, so this was a different game here. So we're guessing the letter D, and notice you can do upper or lowercase letters here. Sorry, the letter D is not in the word, so that pops another leg on. Oh, there's only one turn left. Now that's a really hard looking word. What is that? So anyway, we just tried the word W, sort of giving up, and that was not in the word. So the final leg came and the Hangman got us. Okay, and then afterwards you need to tell the player what the heck was that difficult word they were trying to do, and the mystery word was reservation. All right, so this works pretty much exactly the same as the pen and paper Hangman. And the pen and paper Hangman's an easy game that little children play, but not so easy to program, as we're going to find out. So making the Hangman game on a computer in any programming language, actually you could be doing this in C# or VBNet or C, it doesn't matter. It's still pretty much the same sort of logic. You need 2 arrays going at the same time. So if you have not done our previous lesson on arrays with the pets in the houses, make sure you do that because you really need to understand arrays and random numbers and making keyboard character pictures. So you need to have done the rolling dice lesson as well. So you need to go to our programming page, find those and do them if you have not done them already. Okay, and then you'll understand what we've got up here on the screen, which is an array. Now, I'm kind of a slow talker, so mostly my videos that I make, they look better if you watch them at 1.5 speed or even 1.75 speed. You just go to that tools cog, which is on the play bar of the video, and click on that, and you can change the play speed, put it on 1.5, 1.75, the video will probably flow a lot better. So what we do is we have a mystery word. Now this mystery word is vacation, because we're kind of using a holidays theme for our lesson here, vacation. So we need to get the letters out of that word and put them in an array. So we've got them all in little different storage containers here, and the storage containers are indexed, okay? So this is hidden from the player in memory, but that's the mystery word, vacation. And what happens then is we need a second array where we're going to reveal to the player letters in the word as they guess them. So this array has to be the same length as our word, but we've got star characters, which you get by Shift and 8 on the keyboard. So they're all filled in here as mystery letters. We don't know what they are now. And the idea is that when the person guesses a letter, we check out if it is in that word letters array. So they might guess the letter T, and they're wondering, is the letter T in that word? So we go to our word letters array, which is hidden from them. They can't see this, it's in computer memory. And we go along here, is there a T? No, that's not a T, that's not a T, that's not a T, that's not a T. Oh, hang on, at index 4, we do have a T. All right, so we found one at index 4. And what we do is we copy that value into index 4 in this mystery guess letters one, which we are printing and allowing them to see on the screen. So they'll see, okay, my mystery word's got these letters, which we don't know yet, but the letter T is in the word and it's at this position. So let's say they guessed the letter A, And there are two A's in vacation, so we need to make sure our program reveals both of them to the player, okay? So the way you write this in Python, it's going to need to have a loop that goes right through the word. It doesn't stop the first time it finds A, but it'll keep going until it finds all the A's, and it's going to copy them into this guest letters array, which we print out. And the player can see, oh, okay, the letter's got two A's and a T, and in these spots, I've got to try and guess what those missing letters are and get them revealed, okay? So that's sort of the mechanics of how you make a Hangman game. You need to have two arrays which are continually updating. Now, how do we break up a word into the letters to put into that array? Well, let's visualize this using Lego bricks. All right, so I found some Lego bricks when we were cleaning up that belonged to my son in the cupboard. And so I thought, oh, these might be good. And I got some little stickers down at the shop. So it's a little bit crude, but what we've got is the word travel, okay? That's the mystery word. Now, at the moment, when you set word equals travel and store that in the memory variable word, all the letters are kind of stuck together, like having all those Lego blocks clipped together as in that photo. Now, when they're guessing letters, to be able to do that, what we need to do is we need to unsnap all these blocks with the letters on them and store each block separately. So we've got to have some sort of processing that can pull that apart, pull all the Lego block bricks apart and put each one separately. You can't see them here, but that's index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we set up an array called word letters. So this is the variable word, but we need to be able to break out all of the letters and put them in separate array memory boxes, okay, that are numbered 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you've seen our previous arrays lesson, this will make all sense. If it's not making sense, you need to go back and watch that lesson. So these letters are now stored in word letters 0 to word letters 5, okay? So let's have a look at how we do it in Python. We use this thing called substrings, okay? So we can break the letters apart and pull the word apart into its letters using substrings. Now, how substrings work is, here's our full word travel, and we've sort of got substring 0, substring 1, 2, position 3, 4, and 5 along that string of letters. So in computers, we don't call a word a word. What we call it is that we've got a whole bunch of characters here and we've joined them all together in a string, like a string of Christmas tree lights, where the lights are all joined by wires. Okay, so how we pull this apart is we say substring number 0 is our word, so that's word, that whole big box, and we just want to go to position 0 and not go past position 1. Okay, now this is a bit of a pain the way they are coded in Python, that it's saying go to position 0, so there's substring 0, and the 1 on the end here means stop before you get to position 1. So basically that's saying just pull out what is at position 0, okay? It'd be nicer if it was just word bracket 0, okay, but it doesn't work like that. It puts this column 1 on so that Python knows it's a substring and not an index of an array, okay? That's the way you have to do it anyway. And that will pull out the letter T. So if we print that value, substring 0, we should see the letter T. Now to get the next one that's at R, that's substring 1 and stopping before we get to number 2. So you have to code that as word, square brackets 1, double dots 2. This one here is at 2, so you probably guess we have to do word brackets 2, double dots 3, because we want to stop before we get to 3. 3.4 means go to 3 here and just get number 3 and stop when you get to number 4. Don't get number 4, just get number 3, and so on. So you have to sort of get the one you want and do double dots the next one, all right, which is kind of confusing and annoying, but that's the way it works and that's the way we have to do it. So what'll happen is as you print these out, as you get them, you'll get printed on each line T, then R, then A, V, E, L. All right, so it has managed to pull this apart using substrings. Now, why don't we have them printing out across the page? Well, we'll show you how to do that later, but we wanted to keep it simple just for now. All right, so that's the idea of substrings. So let's continue. The next step we want to do is we want to make a loop that can do that substringing for us, so that we can't just use the word travel, we can use a whole bunch of words of any length. We can pick any word we want and we can pull it apart into its letters, okay, and print those letters out. So we use the Python length function to work out how long the word is. So we've used that on arrays to work out how many items are in an array. We can use that on words to work out how many characters there are in that particular string or that particular word. All right, so we know this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's its length. So here we've hard-coded the length, all right? So this would only work for a 6-letter word like travel is. And what we do is we say, okay, starting at 0 and stopping when you get to 6, we need to get the current letter equals the word. That's the variable word, square brackets I plus 1. Now, when we first start the loop here, I'll be 0, so it's going to get this one. When we go through the loop the next time, I'll be 1, so it'll get the R, it should get the A, and then the V. Now, you might not understand this, but trust me, it works. Now, we've got a bigger word here, vacation, and rather setting up, that's got 8 letters in it, rather than setting up 0 to 8, we're setting up something much better here. This loop here will be able to do any word which we give it. We don't have to worry about length, because we calculate word length equals len brackets word, so it's going to look in here and work out, okay, that one's 8, so I know I have to do this loop 8 times. If it was looking at travel, it'd go, okay, length of word, work out that that's 6, and then it would know it has to do the loop 6 times, all right? So this one here is the better one to use. This loop here should print out all the words of vacation. And when we run this in Python, it does work, okay? The hard-coded value loop prints out travel, and this one, which will work for any length word, does work okay for vacation and prints out all the letters of vacation one by one on a separate line, okay? So we're getting closer to what we need. And instead of printing them out, remember what we need to do is we need to put them into the word letters array, so that we've taken the word, any word which is in our Hangman game, or is going to be in our Hangman game, and we're going to be able to separate it out into letters and put those letters in an array, because that's a key part of making the Hangman game. All right, so these are called the pre-Hangman programs. We suggest you do these little programs, right, just to get the idea of how we're going to deal with the arrays when we get to building the real Hangman program. So we're going to have to load each of those substring letters, not print it out, but put it into an array instead. So remember, going back to our Lego blocks, we've got the word equals travel, so all the letters are stuck together, and we need to disassemble that and get them all separate. So we're going to use substrings to do it. This T is at substring 0, and this block on the end is at substring 5, okay? So that's what we're trying to do, and we're going to have this process, and it's going to unsnap all those Lego blocks, pull all the letters apart using substrings, and then it's going to put it in a different thing called word letters. So this one is called word. That's a string variable. It holds it all stuck together as one. This one here, word letters, is an array, and that's where we're going to have each letter of the word in its own separate memory container in memory. Here we've got 6 different containers with 6 different letters in it. In this one, we've only got 1 container in memory, okay, which just has the word travel in it. So that's an important thing to understand. So how are we going to do that in Python? Well, we've got the word equals travel. That's where our blocks are all stuck together here. We're going to define an array first, set up all those empty boxes. It's going to be called word letters, and that's just going to be square brackets to tell Python it's an array. The word length is the length of the word, so it goes up here and works out this is a 6-letter word, so it knows it's going to have to do the loop 6 times, and this is where we do the substringing to pull out the letters. Now, as we pull out each letter, this word letters array, we append that letter onto it, or we added it into it. So first time through it'll append T, the next time it's going to append on the R, and it's going to go through this 6 times and pull out all the letters and place them in their memory boxes in the array. Now look, if you don't fully understand this, that's okay. It looks very algebra-like with all these different letters and pluses and double dots, but the main thing is you understand the concept that this piece, this code here, this just a few lines of code is doing this work of taking something in memory that's in one location, all stuck together as travel, or any word, and it's going to use substringing to pull it apart and put the letters separately in an array we've made called word letters, okay? And that's a key thing we're doing in the Python game. And the other key thing we're going to do, which I think we're going to look at soon, is the opposite. What do we do when we've got all of our letters in boxes and we want to snap them all back together into something that we can print out onto the screen going across the page, all right? So let's look at that. So if we want to reassemble it back into the word so we can print it out on the screen for the player to see, this is the code that we just looked at that's going to take travel and pull it all apart and have each letter in a separate memory box in the array. This is how we put it all back together, okay? So we're going to have a word called unpacked word, where we've unpacked it all from the array and put it back together. And we're just going to go 6 times, or whatever the word length is. This will work for any word. It'll work for travel, vacations, suitcases, any of our words we're going to use. And the unpacked word is just the unpacked word that we're up to plus the next letter in the array, okay? So how it's going to work is we've got the word letters, T-R-A-V-E-L, separately in array memory boxes. And the first time through the loop, when I equals 0, it's just going to go to the 0 position and grab the letter T. Now, because we're using unpacked word plus the letter in this line of code down here, what's going to happen next time through the loop is it'll tack on or append on the letter R. Then it'll move along to the next position in the array, because I now equals 0, 1, 2, we're up to I equals 2. It's going to grab A and it's going to take unpacked word, which was TR, and add A onto the end. All right, then it's going to add V onto the end. It's going to find the E, which is here on the next looping, and add that on the end. Then it's finally going to get to the last letter there, the last repeat of the loop, and it's going to plus that letter onto the end. So we're gradually just pulling the letters out one by one and joining them on, okay, using this plus sign to add them on, all right? So again, you may not fully understand that as kind of compacted algebra type code, if you like, but just if you can just know in your brain, okay, that sort of thing there is really just pulling letters out of the array and adding them onto each other until we've got the full word. And once we've got that in unpacked word, we can print unpacked word out on the screen, okay? So there's kind of the pre-Hangman skills. So make sure you're familiar with those programs, because that's going to be a lot of the coding. And basically, if you can understand those, you should be able to understand the whole Hangman thing when we build it. So remember, Hangman has 2 arrays that we continually process during the game. All right, so we're going to have this mystery word letters, the word letters array. So we have to take whatever word it is, and using those loops that can cope with any length word, and we're going to use substringing in the loop to pull it apart and put it into this array of word letters, all right? So the word we started off with for our Hangman game has been pulled apart and put into its separate letters. Now we're going to have a separate second array called guessed letters, all right? Now this word letters one, that's inside computer memory, so the player can't see what the mystery word is, all right? Only the computer knows it. What the player's going to see is just 6 stars, star symbols on their screen to tell them that it's a 6-letter word, all right? So the player only sees this, the 6 stars on the screen, and this array, you've got to make sure that's the same length, obviously, as the mystery word is, okay? And now here, the player's wondering, I wonder if the letter A, hopefully you can see that there, it's a little dark from the photo, hopefully the letter A might be in this word, okay? So the player's guess is the letter A. So what happens is the mystery word is checked, so it just does a loop that goes all the way through the mystery word, starts off here at 0, index 0, T, no, that's not equal to A, okay, so let's move to the next one. No, the player's guessed A, so we'll skip to the next one. Oh, hang on, the next one is letter A, and the player was trying to guess, is there a letter A in there? So what we do is we copy that A out into guessed letters, into the other array. And this array is going to get, you know how we did that unpacked word thing? So that we could pull all the letters out and assemble them into a word that we could display on the screen. Well, that's what's going to get displayed on the screen. 2 stars and an A, and it's going to tell them, yep, that was a good guess because the letter A is in the word once and it appears here. All right, so that's what we do. To gradually tell the player when they guess something correctly. So yeah, if you can, again, keep that in your head that there's 2 main arrays, although we are going to have some more arrays as well. This whole game works off arrays, but these are the two main ones. The mystery word is there, hidden away in memory, so the player can't see that. The player sees this other array, guessed letters, all right? And we fill in guessed letters with letters when they do a guess that matches something in the mystery word, all right? Just like we would playing the Hangman game in real life. So sort of keep that in your head as well, all right? So we've been through a few things here. It's a longer introduction than usual. If you've got all those concepts in your head, you should be able to do the Hangman game, because the Hangman game is going to have a lot of build steps, all right? This is a big project, but it's going to be great when it's finished, because it'll be just like playing the real Hangman. So version 1, we're just going to disassemble and load that mystery word into that word letters array, okay, that we've been talking about. So that's basically what we've already talked about. Version 2, we're going to get that guess letters array happening, the second array, and we'll just fill it full of stars at the moment. And that array has to be as long as the mystery word is, all right? Then we're going to have a while loop so that the player can guess the letter, all right? So like the number guessing game, you should have done that one as well before this one. You should have done all of the games in our course before this one to help you understand what's going on, basically. But we're going to create a while loop so they can guess the letter. We'll check the player's letters guess, like we just showed you before. Is the letter A in that word? And if it is, we'll show it to them. Now, we need to also check after they've been guessing quite a few letters, they might have filled up all of the boxes in the guess letters array, and maybe they've actually finished and they've got the whole mystery word. So every time they do a letter, we need to check, have they filled them all in and does it equal the mystery word yet? Because the game might be over. Version 6, we're going to show the player what letters they've already guessed, so they don't accidentally go guessing the same letters again and waste valuable turns. We're going to have the player be able to guess the full word, because remember, in the real Hangman, after a few letters have been revealed, you're allowed to have a go at typing in the full word, trying to guess the word and not have to mess around and keep doing letters. You sort of see the ones that are there that you know already, and you go, hey, I know what this word is, it's travel. So you type in the word travel and you finish the game early, so we're going to do that. And then finally, it won't be till version 8 that we'll actually start seeing the Hangman characters build up as the player gets guesses wrong, okay? Then number 9. So we're going to start off just giving them 3 guesses, and then we'll give them 10 guesses before the game ends. Once we've got the Hangman characters going, we don't need to drive the game off number of guesses that they've had. We can just drive it off, have they reached the final Hangman, and has the Hangman got them, and the game is over. So we have to kind of do a bit of rejigging there, redesign for version 9. And version 10 is where we'll make it do randomly selected words. So for versions 1 through 9, we're just going to use 2 words, travel and the word vacation, that has 2 A's in it, and just kind of develop and test with those 2 words. Then right at the end, we'll sort of have this where you can put in a whole list of words and Python can just randomly pick one of those words to be the word for the current Hangman game. Okay, so this is a really big project, probably the biggest project I think we've done on Passy's World as a programming project outside of Bob's Burgers in VBNet. That was a very big one. So you'll definitely need the downloaded PDF step-by-step instructions. So look, we're not going to have time to make a 1.5 or a 2-hour video here and do all of the step-by-step versions there, versions 1 to 10, because I've already spent 23 minutes on this video already. So we don't want to make it too long, okay? And then after that, there will be a couple of challenge tasks, but I think we'll come back and talk about them. Let's just get in and we'll show you what the PDF step-by-step instructions are. If you're a student, you'll have to get your teacher to go to the downloads for the video and get this document for you. Plus, they'll be able to get a whole bunch of listings of code for all of these different versions so they can give them to you if you get stuck on a version and yours won't work. You'll be able to look at the solution code line by line and see what might slightly be wrong in yours. So this is a lesson you have to get the downloads for. Okay, so at this stage, we should probably show you how the game works. So here we are, Hangman Game. It's got 11 letters. So it's always good to guess the letter A, start with vowels. So there is an A in this word here. So next we'll try E. Now what's it telling us about E? E matches 2 letters, so it's E, E. Let's try T. I've got a feeling T might be in here. I think I know what this word is actually. Yes, this word, let's try guess the word. I think it's now I can put them in little letters or big letters. Reservation? T-I-O-N, yes. All right, so you've guessed the mystery word in 5 guesses. Okay, so that's the sort of thing the game should be showing us. Okay, so let's see what happens when we don't guess the word. So there's an A in there. We'll try a T. Oh, there is a T. Okay, let's just guess QW. Now you can see the Hangman character starting to appear here. And we've only got 1 letter left. Let's try X, because we know X won't be in the word pretty likely. And so game over, the Hangman got you. Now the mystery word was accommodation, okay? So that's sort of how the Hangman game works. And let's just go across to the detailed step-by-step instructions. All right, so Python Hangman Game. Now these are the instructions which you need to get, or get your teacher to get them for you for this game. All right, so there's 45 pages on them, so that's just showing how the game works. That's what we've already discussed, the mechanics of the game, the pre-Hangman sort of programs you need to do to understand what we're going to be doing in the game. And so that's still pre-Hangman. Now there's the build steps. So there's a lot of build steps, 10 progressive versions that we need to build using the agile methodology. So version 1 is where you load the mystery words into the array. So that's similar to what we did in the pre-Hangman practicing programs, learning our skills. So you'll get all that done, and you'll see that, yep, the word travel has been loaded in there. Then we need to load the guess letters array. So we need to create that and set it up and load it up. And what should happen after you've done that, and again, get these instructions, we don't have time to go through them. What should happen there is we've just got some debug. So that's what the mystery word looks like. All asterisks, when they guess an A, we're just telling them yes, A is what they entered, E was what they entered, L was entered. So we know the letters at least are getting input by the user. All right, then we need to check those letter guesses to see if they are in the mystery word, like we kind of showed you with those Lego bricks. And so there's all this Python code and things we need to do for doing that. And what should happen then is you should be able to run the game here. We've just ran it in the interpreter. So there's the 6 letters. We're just going to use the word travel all the time while developing this to get it right. So it does have A in it, it does have E in it, and it's showing us where in the word, in the mystery word, the letters are. Okay, so get that version done. Then there's more of that to do still. We're still doing that, and we need to make sure that a word like vacation, like if we put vacation in the 8-letter one, that if we guess A, it will reveal both of the A's in vacation. All right, so it is revealing multiple letters, so you need to make sure you've got that going. This is all this check the player's letters guess. That's one of the biggest subroutines that you have to make in the program, okay? So you get all that. And again, there's no Hangman appearing yet. That does not come till way later in the game. Now, as they're guessing these letters, maybe they've guessed enough letters now that the whole word is actually finished and they've guessed the mystery word. So we need to have another procedure here that goes to, every time they finish guessing a letter, let's check if the whole word has been guessed or not yet. And when it has been guessed, set game over equals true. So again, we've got all this procedure you can write to check whether they have guessed the letter. And let's just try and zoom in here and have a bit of a look so we can see it. So here we're playing a game, contains 6 letters, A, E, E, R. So they've got down to this, and then we continue up here. They try M, M isn't in there. So they try L, L is in there. So we're getting most of the word revealed. For some silly reason, they've guessed M again, and M's not in there. And finally we get over here and they get smart and they guess V, ravel, okay? And going through the alphabet, T looks like a good candidate, travel. And so they had 1 guess remaining, and they don't need any more guesses because they've actually guessed the number. So we're going to make this first up not based on Hangman, it's just based on number of guesses. So we're giving them 10 guesses at letters, and to see if they can get the word in under 10 guesses. If they don't get it within 10 guesses, then it's game over. All right, so it's not till a later version that we introduce the Hangman, and we make the Hangman end the game rather than the number of guesses, okay? So number of guesses, we just did it that way to keep it familiar with when you did the guess the number game previously. And you could have, maybe people will be saying, oh, you shouldn't have done that, you should have done the hangman straight away. But we didn't want to try and pile heaps of functions into the program all at once. We're just trying to use Agile to just get a little piece working and developed, and then go on to the next stage of making it. So the next stage was version 6, where we tell the players what letters they have guessed already. So as they're guessing letters, you guessed it, we have to keep all those letters in another array called the array of the numbers, the letters they've guessed already, and we need to print out that array to them each time. So there's a whole lot of processing to do that. And what I'll tell them is that your guesses so far have been O and A, all right? So the program's working really well. It tells them which ones they've guessed already, so they know not to guess O, A, and E again because they've guessed them. But there are some confusions. It always puts a comma on the last letter, okay? O, A, comma. So yeah, we need to fix that. So along the way, you'll find also that there's little fixes, because there was a little trick we had to do to make sure when it lists all these letters that it doesn't put a comma on the last one, because then the player might think, oh, hang on, there should have been more, where is it? It knows that's the last letter because there is no comma on that. So that gets a listing of previous letters guessed. So we're gradually building it up. We've got the mystery word, they can do guessing, it fills them in the asterisks as if they've got a correct guess. It's telling them all the guesses they've done so far so they don't accidentally guess the same letter. It's doing all the things which the real hangman does. And then we move on to version 7, where they can have a go at guessing the full word. All right, so once they've got a few letters, they might see, like back here, that it's AVE. Maybe they can figure out, oh, that's travel. I'm going to type in that whole word travel and finish the game. So we do all this stuff for that to give them a go at guessing the full word, all right, without having to do extra input or things like that. And you can see here that they've guessed all these letters. They've just about got the whole thing. So obviously they guess L, travel, and then it tells them they've still got no guesses remaining, and it tells them what they guess. So you do not need any more guesses. You've guessed the mystery number in 10 guesses. All right, so there's all sorts of things to do for that. And then finally, it's at version 8, we actually start making the hangman characters. So you have to make these kind of pictures and work out how to do them with print statements in Python. And it's actually easiest to start with the last hangman image and then knock little bits off it as you go to build your way all the way back to the start image. So rather than go to the start and add bits on, it's easy to have the finished one and knock bits off and make it this way. But anyway, you have to make all the print statements for that. And we have to display the progressive hangman. So we have to count how many wrong guesses they've had. And if the incorrect guesses is 0, like when they start the game, we just show the gallows. But when they get one wrong, we do the head, and then we add the body, then we add legs and arms at number 6 until we've got the full hangman and the game is over. All right, so there's things to do there and little fixes to make as we test it. Then once we've got all those hangmen and the game finishes when they're at the last hangman, we don't need that number of guesses thing. So we have to remove that, and there are a few little problems that come up while we're doing that, and we'll show you how to fix them. So that's all Agile stuff. And then we've got this stuff where the final hangman comes up to end the game. And game over, bad luck, the hangman got you. So after the last final gets the wrong guesses, that they've had 6 incorrect guesses, they'll have the full hangman, and we set the game over, and that's that. And there are some issues, I think, where it finishes a game but then still shows more information, and we have to fix all those up. So testing, and debugging and fixing. And then at this stage, we've just about got it fixed. Like they've beaten the hangman here. Here the hangman got them. Here they've won okay by getting the word. But the thing is here that after it's ended, if they guess a wrong word, so if they're doing a full word guess, it finishes the game, but then it adds in this extra stuff we don't need because they're not doing any more guesses. So we have to fix that. So, you know, there's a lot of testing and fixing along the way as well. And then finally we get to version 10, which is the easy part to finish off, where we're not using the word travel all the time to test it, but where we are actually having a random list of words. So our theme was holidays and vacations, so we had all these words as our possible words for the Hangman game. Now you don't have to do that for yours. You can make yours on any kind of school-friendly theme you like, all right? And then that's all fixed up eventually and working fine. And the last challenge task is to extend the game so that it's got actual phrases that you can guess rather than just individual words, just like the real Hangman game would have. But we set that as a challenge task and give you some clues here on how to do that. So like, this is a really great game. It pulls together all the skills from all the lessons we've done so far. It's a fun game when you get it finished, and we build it up gradually using Agile to do it, okay? So let's just go back and finish this video up. All right, so the lesson itself does have two challenge tasks. One of them is to change that guesses, that it's driven off a number of guesses, to where it's just driven off whether you've got to the final Hangman or not. So that's one of the challenge tasks to do, and we kind of give you some clues on how to do that in the PDF. So you've got to have the PDF step-by-step instructions for this lesson. It's a big lesson. Make sure you get your teacher to go to the download link that's there in the video description and get that for you, and they'll also be able to get all the listings so that you can check if your particular version isn't working properly. Then challenge task 2 is to make guessable phrases. All right, so we change our word list so it has longer things in it, like instead of suitcases it has pack suitcases. So we're just going to use the underscore as the gap character between all of the words, and then you'll be able to have things like guessing this one, pack something cases. Oh, okay, let's guess it, pack underscore suitcases. Yes, that is the right word, and we have beaten the Hangman. Okay, so you can expand it out to be like a full real Hangman where they can do phrases as well. So this is a fabulous lesson. Now, as we've been talking about, you need to go to the Python course and make sure you've done those previous lessons. So that's at PassyWorldOfICT.com Python, and we'll just jump over and have a look at that. Okay, so just Google Passy's World of ICT or go to PassyWorldOfICT.com. Click on the Python button here at the top, the Python tab. That'll take you into the Python course. And what you need to have done before you can do this epic Hangman game is you need to have done the number guess game with levels, so you understand while loops and how to get players' input and how to drive a game off the number of guesses that they've had. You need to have done Python arrays and lists plus validation. So you need to have done that one with the pets in their cages, the dogs and the cats, the pets on Pleasant Street. You must have done that. You need to have done the dice roll lesson for randomization and how to draw use keyboard characters to make a little picture for your game. And in here is where we'll have the downloadables, which might take us a few days to get up there, but it'll have the downloads for this Python Hangman lesson. That'll be the next one that'll slot in here. We have not updated the web page just yet. Okay, so thanks for watching. We hope you like building the Hangman game. It certainly is a lot of fun and very challenging, but that'll make you a real Python programmer. Like, you have built a real world application. You can put that on a USB stick and the PyExe one and take it around to your friend's place, plug it into their computer, and you guys can play Hangman. So it's really epic and really awesome, and it's a great way that we've kind of gradually built up our skills to where we're now playing like a proper match. We're a Python programmer and we can build an application, and that's really exciting. Okay, so subscribe to our channel, give this video a big thumbs up, like, subscribe to our channel when you see the next video update for what's coming up, and we will see you, Python, in the next lesson.